Hey there, Nerd Nation, or as some like to be called, Imagination Connoisseurs. Darth Jacker coming at you with a video about the lost sci-fi television series from 1989, Fox Network's Alien Nation. Alien Nation was a science fiction police procedural based on the 1988 movie of the same name that ran from one season from September 89 to May of 1990. The show starred the late Gary Graham, who some of you might remember as Ambassador Soval from Star Trek Enterprise. He was playing the detective Matthew Sykes, and Eric Pierpoint, who had small roles in every Star Trek show, basically from Next Generation to Enterprise, was Sam George Francisco, taking over the roles that James Caan and Mandy Patinkin played in the movie, respectively. Fox wanted Kenneth Johnson, who you may remember from the $6 Million Man, The Incredible Hulk, and V, the original miniseries, to produce the show. And they gave him a copy of the movie to watch to gauge his interest in the project. They kind of wanted to pitch a sort of Miami Vice, Lethal Weapon with aliens type of show. And I don't think that interested him that much. That's not the kind of guy not the kind of way he's wired. So he decided a counter pitch, and it was something a little bit different. Uh, Johnson's idea was more like In the Heat of the Night than Miami Vice, focusing more on the newcomers and their culture and about being suddenly thrust into American society, all wrapped up in a digestible police procedural. Of course, Johnson was right, and the show works, being considerably better than the movie, all things considered. It only occasionally did it get sort of ham-fisted with its social commentary, but I mean, that can be the writers maybe not being as experienced as they could have been. Highlights of the series include the 2-hour TV movie pilot, which also happened to be the only episode directed by Johnson, and does a great job of setting up the world and introducing the characters, of which there are many, at least in the first half of the season. Man, it even ties itself into the James Caan Mandy Patinkin movie by suggesting that Sykes' partner Bill Tuggle was killed not by the newcomer criminal as shown in the film, but by a bent cop protecting the newcomer's secret. Kenneth Johnson has always been a terrific writer. I mean, I really enjoyed what he did in the original V miniseries. And he seemed to pack a lot into this movie. Unfortunately, a couple of the plot lines introduced seemed to go by the wayside, including the Bolanephus story about a newcomer virus that has jumped to humans. It's introduced at the start of the movie. It's touched on several times throughout, including the very last scene, only to disappear, never to be spoken again in the series. It's just gone. Another oddity I think I gotta mention is the newscasts throughout the pilot episode are talking about the government of California voting on giving the Tinctonese, that's what the newcomers are called in the series, the right to vote. And by the end of the movie, they vote overwhelmingly to allow that to happen. And then in the episode The Spirit of 95, they dedicate the whole episode to the newcomers lobbying for the right to vote. Maybe the writers just missed that detail, and nobody bothered to correct them. The TV movie was shot sometime before the series got going, which it resulted in a few continuity errors, not the least of which is the apartment that Sykes and his newcomer neighbor Kathy live in changes completely from the pilot to the series, both the exterior and the interior. It always had me thinking, why wouldn't they at least try to paint and style the interiors in the series to match the pilot movie? But hey, if anybody knows the answer to that, put it in the comments below. Or maybe it's just a question that's lost in time. The series episodes tended to be the standard fare. You know, the A and B stories would include a police case of the week and how that often tied in with Tinctonese culture, as well as a story involving George and his family, and or Matt and his personal life. A couple of episodes I particularly enjoyed, I guess, include Fountain of Youth, where a doctor and high school buddy of Sykes is found to be killing newcomers on the operating table of his clinic to remove their spartiary glands, whatever that is, and implanting them in humans to prolong their lives. My favorite episode, though, like all time of the whole series, has got to be Night of the Screams, a Halloween episode, which in which a series of murders is patterned after the mythical Tinctonese boogeyman Tagdot, who chops off the hands of his victims and watches as they slowly bleed to death. It's a pretty solid series overall, with I think only a few clunkers, which is Takeover, which is nothing more than a derivative retelling of Assault on Precinct 13, and Gimme Gimme, an episode that beats the viewer over the head with its environmental message so much it gives you a migraine by the end of it. I think the reason I enjoyed the show back when it aired and still find value in it even today is because despite its flaws, it still does what the great science fiction TV shows that came before it are best at. They take the social and societal problems of the day and they wrap it up in an entertaining, action-oriented package that allows the viewer to make up their own minds about what they would just watched in the grand tradition of Star Trek and Twilight Zone. It was a good show, so, naturally, it was canceled after one season, even though the Fox executives assured the producers a renewal, hence the cliffhanger ending of episode 22. But to be fair, I mean, I think Fox canceled all their scripted drama series for the 90-91 season, falling for that lure of crappy reality TV instead. Alien Nation had a particularly strong fan base at the time that made a lot of noise, which eventually led to the continuation of the series in novels, comic books, and ultimately, after a change in management, read the previous administration got their asses fired, a series of 5 TV movies, including all the original cast, was eventually greenlit. These movies are a little more hit and miss than the series was, and introduce their own set of continuity errors, including George remembering the newcomer home world of Tankton when in the series it's stated several times that he was born on the ship and never saw the home planet. But whatever. At least the fans of the show got something in the end. Over the last decade or so, there have been rumblings of a revival or a reboot of the series. These tended to be just rumors until about 2016, when writer-director Jeff Nichols was hired to direct a remake of the '88 film. This kind of fell by the wayside until 2021, when Disney asked him to expand his script into a 10-episode series for D+. And then, that was kind of it. The project's either dead or in production hell as we speak. Either way, it doesn't sound like it's good news for fans of Alien Nation. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you remember watching Alien Nation, and if you made it this far in the video. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. It's a free thing y'all can do, and it really helps the channel out. And I'll see all y'all in the next video. Later.
That was the scene in California's Mojave Desert 5 years ago. Our historic first view of the newcomer's ship. Theirs was a slave ship carrying 250,000 beings bred to adapt and labor in any environment. But they've washed ashore on Earth with no way to get back to where they came from. And in the last 5 years, the newcomers have become the latest addition to the population of Los Angeles.
Chilled monkey brains. Please like, share, and subscribe.